Hi, my name is Chris Beckman and I'm the corporate chaplain for Ebenezer. And this is a series of reflections and devotions that we've been creating during this time of COVID-19. They're coming out every Monday and Wednesday and Friday, and we hope you're enjoying them. We've also been creating a weekly worship service that is coming out every Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, and we hope you are enjoying those as well. Today's devotion is number 16 in our series, and I've entitled it Sacred Grounds. Actually, that's the name of my coffee shop I'm going to open someday. Sacred Grounds, isn't that a good thing? One of the things that I've been reading about lately is hearing more and more about the rationing that was done during World War II. Some of you who are watching this probably even lived through that. Mostly we know that gas was rationed and sugar and butter, and we've been hearing a lot more that meat was also rationed so that the servicemen and women would have enough food for them as they were serving at the front. What I didn't know previously is that at one point they even had a ration coffee, and you were allowed 1 pound of coffee for every 5 weeks. And that part alone caught my ear because if you know anything about me, you know that I have a deep fondness for coffee. In fact, when I go to see my doctor once a year for my physical, lately he's been saying to me, Chris, are we drinking 1 gallon of coffee a day, or are we up to 2 at this point? And while you might think that is an exaggeration, it is not so far from the truth. So hearing that during World War II, I could have only had 1 pound of coffee every 5 weeks, it gave me a shudder. But it did remind me of what some of the people were doing to make do during that time when they didn't have enough coffee. They were often taking chicory, which sounds a lot like a dandelion to me, and they were taking the leaves and roasting them, and then they would reuse the coffee grounds. Yes, you didn't mishear me. They would reuse the coffee grounds and add some chicory to it, which would add some of the freshly roasted flavor, and they would run it through the coffee maker or the crock pot, not the crock pot, but the percolator or whatever kind of coffee system they were using again. Now that doesn't sound very good, does it? One of the questions for us during this time of COVID-19 is lots of the things that we once loved to do and once cared about, we can't do. And we often feel like we're really sacrificing. We might even say, oh, well, the internet is slow today. Is that really a time of sacrifice? Maybe we can look and find partnership with the residents who we live with, who we care for, who maybe are our grandparents, who maybe are watching this devotion as I speak, and form a partnership that might help us to understand some of the things that were happening during World War II or the Great Depression, and might even give us a better perspective on the life that we have now and what really is sacrifice. I don't think that a slow internet we can really claim as a sacrifice, even though it's feeling a bit painful today. But most importantly, we might learn some of the strategies that the older generations used. Ask them about the victory gardens that they planted during World War II. Ask them how they learned how to can tomatoes and even canned meat, of all things, to make it last longer. Ask them if they can teach you how to make sauerkraut or any of the things that might form a bond between us and those who are older, that might cross the boundaries between World War II and the pandemic that we're living through today. But most importantly, it might help us to understand that they made it through World War II. They made it through the Great Depression. We made it through Vietnam and Korea. And we are going to make it through this as well. But we're going to need each other, and we're going to need the community of faith. And we're maybe going to need at some point to even take our old coffee grounds and reuse them with chicory. God willing, that won't be the case. But if we do, they made it back then. and we will too. And I hope and trust and pray that you will find the connections during this time that will give us new life and new hope, and help us to let us know that we will get through this too together. Thanks for listening. Bye now.